When you scroll through coffee machine listings, you've probably felt that sting of disappointment. Those glossy photos and marketing promises look amazing, but the moment you plug the thing in, the froth comes out like flat milk, or the espresso just tastes watery. I've been there, and that's why I'm doing this deep dive. If you're on the fence about buying an espresso machine because you worry it'll end up as a pricey paperweight, stick around. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the everyday scenario most of us face. You're waking up, you want a solid espresso to kickstart the day, maybe a cappuccino for the weekend brunch, and you have only a few minutes before you need to head out. The VZQKXGBWRHT Italian espresso machine promises a semi-automatic experience with a built-in grinder and an automatic milk frother, all wrapped in a sleek silver chassis. On paper, it sounds like the perfect countertop companion for a small household or an office pantry. So, who actually benefits from this setup? If you're a coffee enthusiast who enjoys playing with grind size, tamp pressure, and extraction time, the semi-automatic nature of this machine gives you that hands-on control without the full manual grind and pull routine of a traditional lever type. The integrated grinder is a real time saver. Just pop in your beans, select the grind consistency, and the machine handles the rest. For a family of 3 or 4 that drinks coffee daily, the 510-cup water reservoir means you won't be stopping to refill every half hour, and the automatic frother makes latte art possible even if you've never mastered steaming milk. On the flip side, if you're hoping for a Sedatan forged appliance that can make cafe-grade drinks with a single button press and you have limited counter space, this model might not be the ideal match. The grinder, while convenient, isn't a professional-grade burr that you'd find on high-end machines, so the grind uniformity can be a bit inconsistent if you switch between beans that vary widely in roast level. In practice, that means you might need to tweak the grind setting a few times before you land on the sweet spot for a particular bean. It's not a deal-breaker, but it does add a small learning curve. One practical strength that shows up when you actually use the machine is how the automatic frother handles milk. I tested it with whole milk, skim, and even a plant-based oat option. The frother pulls in enough air to create a velvety microfoam for cappuccinos, and it does so in about 30 seconds. The real win is the consistency. You get a similar foam each time, which is something even many entry-level machines struggle with. If you're the type who drinks a cappuccino every morning, that reliability will feel like a small daily victory. However, there's a hidden trade-off that matters for kitchen workflow. The machine's steam wand is not separate. The frothing is done through a dedicated nozzle that sits on top of the milk container. This design keeps the frother clean, but it also means you can't simultaneously pull an espresso shot and froth milk. If you're entertaining guests and need 2 drinks at once, you'll have to finish one cycle before starting the next. In a bustling brunch setting, that could become a bottleneck. Another nuance concerns the water reservoir capacity. While 510 cups sounds generous, the actual usable volume depends on the cup size you prefer. For a standard 8-ounce espresso, you'll get roughly 6 full drinks before the tank hits the low water indicator. If you routinely brew larger tall drinks, you'll find yourself refilling more often than the spec suggests. It's not a huge inconvenience, but it's something to keep in mind if you're trying to minimize trips to the sink. The machine's semi-automatic nature also means you still have to tamp the coffee manually. The included tamping tool feels solid enough for occasional use, but if you plan to pull multiple shots a day, you might want to invest in a dedicated tamper with a rubber base for more even pressure. The good news is that the machine's pressure gauge provides visual feedback, so you can see when you've achieved the right extraction pressure, something many budget models lack. Now, let's address the big question: does it deliver value for the price? The VZQKXGBWRHT sits in a price bracket that sits just below the entry-level mid-range machines. You're paying for the convenience of an integrated grinder, a respectable milk frother, and a water tank that reduces refilling frequency. Compared to buying a separate grinder and frother, you actually save both money and countertop space. For a user who isn't looking to splurge on a high-end prosumer model, the trade-off of a less precise grinder and a single-task frother feels reasonable. Who should skip this machine? If you already own a high-quality burr grinder and you're looking for a pure espresso-only setup, the built-in grinder may feel redundant, and you might be better off with a machine that offers more advanced pressure profiling. Also, if you have a tight kitchen layout and need